That's quick.
Hey everyone!
Look who we got!
Special guest
Special
in
guest.
house. What's happening? Cosmos is Cosmos.
All under one roof. The Fellowship of the
All
Dome
together.
under
the
one roof.
same sky.
In the same time zone.
And it is so weird.
It is very weird.
Oh, it's very
weird.
odd.
Yeah, it's very. We
I
don't
don't
know where
know
to
if I like
look.
it.
Look at the camera. Look at each other.
Look at Smeagol.
Smeegs is here as well. Smeegs
All
made
four
it.
of us.
Oh yeah. For a split second, I was like 4.
And then the dogs are looking at us like we're crazy.
Yeah, they're.
I guess that's probably normal, huh?
Well, Leia wants to join us. She doesn't understand why she can't come in.
Yeah.
She doesn't know that she would destroy this
Everything
entire
would be
room.
Jack says, "No way that is some green screen magic." It could be. I got
Could
some
be.
skills.
Quickly,
No,
punch
it's
me.
definitely not. My hand just goes through you like our logos. Just...
That would actually be funny if we can make that happen. So it'd be like the scene in Thor Ragnarok where Thor is throwing rocks at Loki.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like, you didn't think I'd actually be here. All right.
Well, I said
Wow.
we were going to have a special guest.
Yeah, and we do.
And we do.
Okay. Are we about ready to get started? You're hosting.
Oh yeah, you're hosting. What are we talking about?
I guess we're going to find out with our handy host here.
Because I've been busy moving from Oklahoma to Phoenix to here, so I
Yeah.
don't know what the hell's going on.
It's been a lot of transitions happening.
It's
Yeah.
been a long 2 days.
I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about.
Oh God.
Let's just wing it. Let's just see what happens.
It's going to be a wild ride, everyone.
All right, we going to go?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
ready for it? You want me to give you a countdown or anything? You're good.
Do we need to ask like Jack has a sound for us?
Oh, yeah. How does it sound?
Well, based on our sound bars, we should be coming in nicely, hopefully.
Nicely, I like that.
Well, loud.
Clear, preferably.
So
One would hope.
One would hope. And remember, there's a little bit of a delay with the YouTube streaming.
Yeah, there's delay between here, there, and everything.
Everything.
That's
Delays all around.
All
All right. You ready?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Me,
It's got to look the notes.
you know what? I'm just going to leave the glasses on because right now I have to worry about the chat.
No.
What was now
I mean,
the-
I can read the chat.
But
I
now
can
the
view
glasses
chat.
people outnumber the non-glasses people.
Oh, our
which
sound
is
is
important
clear
to
but
me.
distant. Let me just raise our volume up a little bit then.
Well, no matter what, I'm wearing contacts. So.
Okay.
All right, ready?
I guess
Yeah.
we should enunciate
Here,
a little more.
I'll
Ooh.
get the mic in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Okay.
All right.
It was clear until, but distant.
Yay! Katie and Adam!
Yay!
You made it!
Look, everybody, Smeagol.
Hey!
That's our true special guest.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, really.
All right, I think we probably have everybody.
Everybody's here for class. All accounted and present.
This is so weird. This is so weird.
Except your mom, but we got everybody.
All right, ready?
Well, now I'm laughing.
Okay, here we go. In
5, 4.
4.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Cosmos with Cosmos. Oh, man, I messed that up already. But so, welcome, everybody. Today, we're talking about... what are we talking about? We're talking about, is the Milky Way galaxy really made of milk?
Yes.
Yes, I say yes.
Yeah.
I say yes.
Delicious.
All right. Podcast over.
Yes.
Milky goodness.
Yeah, and it's great because you have the big chocolate chip cookie in the sky, the moon, and it always dips itself in the Milky Way.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So
Yeah.
we're done here.
Okay, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Next time we'll talk about something else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as we do.
Which we do know what we're talking about next time, which is awesome. But anyway, so today we're talking about the Milky Way galaxy, the very galaxy that we all live in. But before we do that,
We should introduce ourselves.
yeah, let's introduce ourselves. So,
The
as
drinks.
always, I'm Mike,
I'm Liz.
I'm Brandon.
and we're all under the same roof.
Weird.
Nobody knows where to drink. I mean, where to look or where to drink. In
I can have that drink. I can have this drink. I can have a drink over there.
Yeah, so many drinks.
yeah, so many drinks.
We don't have problems. This is great.
Speaking of drinks, Liz, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Galaxy Juice.
Galaxy juice.
Yes, it is a delightful mixture of coconut rum, mango rum, triple sec, and Caribbean. God, I almost had all of it.
Caribbean Sunset.
It's Caribbean Sunset Juice.
Which is some sort of Tropicana drink.
Yes. Delicious. Galaxy juice right here.
All right, Galaxy Juice. Very good. I am drinking what I am calling Galactic Cannibalism.
Yes.
Which has Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey mixed with Cranberry Cherry Mixer. Yeah. Brandon?
I, for my first drink, have the Hubble Constantly Drunk.
Well done, nice.
Thanks for that alley-oop there, Liz. It's just a tequila sunrise. Which I guess I could have called it like a tequila 2 billion sunrise.
Oh,
that would have been way better.
Damn.
So I am having a tequila 2 billion sunrise.
There you go.
Well, I'll allow it. I'll allow that change. Jack has made a double latte with blackberry puree and white chocolate drizzle.
Wow.
Oh my god.
I love that white chocolate drizzle.
Yeah, that's a finishing touch. It's like the rug that really ties the room together.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. And Katie is going to have a crab vodka, which she actually meant a cran vodka. But
Which
a
is
crab
nice.
vodka would be interesting.
Oh, yeah, but not good.
Well,
Not good. No.
Maybe crab with vodka?
Okay.
the crab soaked vodka. This is hangover territory right
Yeah,
here.
let's not get into it.
All right, well, anyway,
Alright.
before we get started, follow us on all the things. Twitter, Drinking Cosmos, and on Insta, with Cosmos. Yep. You can follow us and rate us on iTunes and just, wherever you get your podcasts.
And really quick, I can't get over how surreal this feels still.
It really is.
This is so strange.
It's a little odd.
And don't forget to join us on The Hangover, where things really get interesting.
Things really get strange.
Yeah.
They're going to get wacky.
And before we continue, as always, we have rules.
Yes.
Anytime a puppy barks, and good news for us is we are expecting a package today, so they will probably be barking at some point. Anytime that we make a Star Wars reference, yes indeed, take a drink. And last but not least, any Lord of the Rings reference, take a drink. Yes. Oh, I need to get mine.
Yeah, we got our Prancy Pony mugs that Brandon got us for Christmas.
All right, well, let me turn mine around so that you can see my little...
Oh, they turned that so good. It looks really strange on my credit card because it says X dollars from Ukraine. No, this is good. This is fine. Ukraine's a good.
This is normal.
This is what I wanted.
Oh, that turned out really well.
Yeah, right? It's good.
Yeah. Cool.
Not too sweet.
I wasn't quite sure how the coconut rum was going to go with it. I mean, I figured it was going to go really well, but...
Yeah, it goes well.
All right, so, over a year ago, what did we send off out into the galaxy?
So over a year ago, we had the fantastic idea of sending a photon from the sun out through space. And throughout the show, we would say, hey, it's reached Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. And it happened really fast, like 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 30 minutes. It comes up really fast in the podcast.
Yeah.
So we kind of decided...
For that one podcast.
The one podcast, yeah. So we decided, instead of having the photon go out every episode, we just followed that same photon through space and track how far away it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so we sent it out, March 22nd of last year, 2020. It's now... Today is March 28th.
So
So it's gone over 1 light year away. So as of right now, it is 5,987,265,265,497 miles away.
It's
Or at least
big.
it was.
Well, yeah.
Now it's a little farther. So which is slightly farther than 1 light year. And the crazy thing is, even though it's gone over nearly 6 trillion miles, it's still in the Oort cloud in the solar system. Probably still in the Oort cloud. It may have left, judging on how far we think the Oort cloud extends.
Yeah, which we don't know for sure.
It's
right?
either between like 0.9 and 3.2 light years. So let's just call it still in the Oort cloud right
So
now.
major photon of light that we sent out over a year ago hasn't basically left the solar system yet.
Well, the Oort cloud is, that fuzzy halo
Or the
of
influence
dust
of the sun.
and comets, kind of. But if you have other stars passing it, they can also impact the influence of that debris. So it's a weird nebulous area.
Yeah, I mean, it's left a heliopause. So
It's left a heliopause, sure.
Yeah, so technically it's out of the solar system.
Okay.
But you know what amazes me is that we sent it a year ago. This thing is going the speed of light,
Which is
186,000
fast.
miles per second, and it's only not even a quarter of a way to the next star. We haven't even. If we're still going in 4 years, which we should be, we will have a major party when Major Photon.
Oh my goodness, we will.
Actually makes it to Alpha Centauri.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So mark your calendars.
And as we've said numerous times, or as I've said numerous times on this show, space is fucking big, people. It's too big.
So right around July 2024, big major photon party.
So that's how long it would take to get to the nearest star. Like, how long would it take to leave our Milky Way galaxy?
Well, all right.
Look at that segue, folks.
Hey!
Look at that segue.
That is well done. It depends on what direction we send it.
Up.
Well, up is just
Galactic North.
Yeah, galactic north. The disk of the Milky Way is only a few 1,000 light years thick.
Thick-wise, yeah.
Yeah, so in a few thousand years, it will leave.
That's easy.
Milky Way.
Yeah, we'll still be around.
Yeah, if we're shooting it towards the center of the Milky Way, and let's just say it goes all the way out, you're talking about 75,000 years?
Now the stupid question. Thinking of the photon, we can say this with hangover, we need to. But photon, that's how long it's left relative to us. Like, how much time has that photon experienced?
Oh, none, because
it's a photon.
It's going the speed of light.
If it were, that's true.
Time is meaningless for when you're going to speed.
Photons are so cool.
My brain just slightly melted. It's fine. Anyway,
Yeah.
speaking of the Milky Way.
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't we, instead of looking at and thinking about what the Milky Way is like, how we see it now, let's just go back in a little bit time and see how different cultures have seen the Milky Way.
Well, yeah, because you think about the Milky Way, and it's like, well, why is it called the Milky Way?
It's made of milk.
It's made of milk.
Yeah. Duh.
And it's interesting. So I'm going to ask our audience, whether you're listening or watching us now, what have you. When have you ever seen the Milky Way, and when was the last time that you saw what you think is the Milky Way? Because
even you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna guess that that a lot of people have never actually seen the Milky Way galaxy in the night sky. Where for ancient civilizations where you don't have all the light pollution, it's going to be something that is very noticeable in the sky, and something that is definitely going to be like, well, that's interesting. Let's make a story about it. How did that get there?
I was when's the last time you saw the Milky Way?
I mean, it was probably, oh God.
When we went camping?
Yeah. Not the last time we went camping. I think it was still maybe light polluted.
Really? You see, the thing is like, I think that you can go out into our backyard here in South Ogden, and if you know where to look, you can see a slight hint of it.
I will update the Twitter tonight.
Really?
No, I think, because I think that I have gone out into the backyard here and seen what I think is a very light hint of it. And it's because we know where to look.
Well, that's true.
And so, and we are a little bit shaded in that we have Wasatch Mountains to our east.
That's true.
There
isn't too much light pollution up here.
No.
Well, I mean, there is, but it's not like Phoenix or...
Yeah. We do have a street light that's...
a damn street light.
Park light, but we can block it out. And...
I think the moon is too full right now, though.
Oh, the moon is
true.
definitely full.
Although the moon's beautiful to look at as well right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, God, it must have been like the last time we went to like Alamo Lake State Park or something.
Wow.
Like, that's the last time I can remember being somewhere dark enough where it was really stood out to me.
Yeah.
But what a sight it is. Oh my goodness.
Jack is lucky because he's in the middle of nowhere and saw it 3 nights ago. So well done, Jack. You placed yourself in a prime location as a planetarian. Katie doesn't think she's ever seen the Milky Way.
Katie, girl, what are you doing?
All right, so there was. I'm gonna tell a little story. It'll be quick.
Okay.
All right, so I am driving from Phoenix up to Flagstaff. It's at night. I'm driving Phoenix to Flagstaff, and we come up to Bumblebee, which I'm sure everybody knows where that is. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere.
I know. I can think it.
Yeah, so it's the big hill, right?
Bumblebee Crown King?
Yep, exactly. So you go up the big hill. I look out the window to my left, and I see the Milky Way, and almost drove off the mountain. It was...
Eyes on the road.
So
no, the Milky Way's right
Oh,
there.
yeah. So I've done the same thing, driving through Texas in the middle of the night, and Texas even more middle of nowhere than Flagstaff, Arizona.
Yeah.
And so, it's 11 p.m., you're going 85 miles an hour because the speed limit's 90, and then you just kind of poke your head, oh my goodness, look at these stars.
Yeah, when we drive to my parents' house overnight, I'm like trying to look, but
Going from the city to middle of nowhere like that, it's like the astronauts going to space beyond the moon saying, my God, it's full of stars.
Yes.
It's like the same thing in our minds.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you have to think then that ancient civilizations that didn't have all this light pollution, they got this amazingly beautiful sky where they saw all these stars and the Milky Way, southern hemisphere. You have the large and small Magellanic Clouds that you can see. And so people came up with some had different ideas of what the Milky Way was and their interpretations of what they were seeing. So I'm just going to go through basically a bunch of different cultures, I'm just going to kind of listicle it in a little bit, give a little brief.
I really want you to wrap it. I know you can, but I want
that. If I had much more preparation to do that. So, we're going to start with Armenian. Ancient Armenian mythology called the Milky Way the Straw Thief's Way. And so, according to legend, the god Vahan stole some straw from the Assyrian king Barsham and brought it to Armenia during a cold winter. And when he fled across the heavens, he spilled some of the straw along the way.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just some spilled straw.
As one would expect.
Yeah, right? Now, a lot of cultures do see the Milky Way as some sort of river.
That makes sense.
Because, it does have that kind of flow to it, if you will. I don't know what civilization this is, but the Kyogen... That's what I'm going to say. Kyogen. The Kyogen people of the Kalahari Desert in southern Africa say that long ago there were no stars and the night was pitch black. A girl who was lonely and wanted to visit other people threw the embers from a fire into the sky, and that created the Milky Way.
Well, that's fun.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't that nice to think about? It's just
That's
fire
really cool.
embers illuminating the sky. It's so sweet. Then we have the Cherokee.
You got to say it. You got to say it.
Okay, so a Cherokee folktale tells of a dog who stole some cornmeal and was chased away, and he ran away to the north, spilling the cornmeal along the way.
Oh.
And so the Milky Way is thus called...
Say it. Own it, though.
Gili Ulzvdanvi.
A+.
I apologize to the Cherokee people. Which just basically means where the dog ran.
Oh.
Why didn't you just say that?
See what I gotta deal with? Now there's 2 of them. So where the dog ran, so you can see. Eastern Asia, this is the creation of the river of heaven across the sky. And so it was associated with the myth of the cowherd and weaver girl, which may start to sound familiar to us at least. So basically, the hazy band of stars was a silvery river of heaven, and there were these two people that are denoted by 2 stars on opposite sides of the Milky Way, Altair and Vega. And so they were two lovers. One was at least in the Japanese version, one was a princess and one was a cowherder. But the emperor, he didn't want his daughter to marry a cowherder, but she was so distraught. So basically, he was like, "All right, one night of a year, I'll allow a flock of crows, or in Japanese, it's a flock of magpies, form a bridge over the river where you can meet." And in Japan, this is celebrated as the festival of Tanabata.
Nice.
Do you remember their names?
Oh, gosh.
So for a little background, we had a show called Treehouse Adventures in the Planetarium, which was the most adorable show ever. And Liz had programmed into it a story about Tanabata. They had the whole narration in there.
Oh, Princess Orihime.
Orihime, I thought it was like,
Yeah,
perfect.
Princess Orihime. What was the cowherder's name?
And then the dad was the Sky Emperor.
Yeah, the Sky Emperor. Yes.
Yes, we're going to look into this later, and we'll do a whole Treehouse Adventure one day.
Yes, I love it. So the Festival of Tanabata is celebrated in July.
Like July 7th.
Yeah, July 7th. And so it's the River of Heaven, and then a bridge will form once a year for lovers to meet.
Adorable. And they celebrate the holiday in Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Oh, did they?
It did. It wasn't in July, though, but it made me happy regardless.
Oh, man, I've been missing out on my Animal Crossing. I gotta get back into it. Okay, and then we have... Excuse me. Okay, and then we have... in Egyptian mythology, which is one of my favorites, as far as like an ancient culture goes, the Milky Way was considered a pool of cow's milk.
Oh.
So it was deified as a fertility cow goddess by the name of Bat, which is later, I guess, combined with the goddess Hathor, the sky goddess Hathor.
Naturally.
Which, yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have... Finno-Ugric. Okay,
just own it.
The Finns and Estonians and related peoples. And the Milky Way was called the Pathway of the Birds. So basically, they observed the migratory patterns birds used, and they used the galaxy as a guideline to travel south, where they believed like the bird home was. And that these birds are led by a white bird with the head of a maiden who chases birds of prey away. So to summarize, it was confirmed that the migratory birds did use the Milky Way as a guide.
Oh.
Which is why we shouldn't be polluting the night sky with just wanton satellites out there. We need to think first.
Hikoboshi. That's right. Yeah, in fact, there's been a lot of studies that light pollution has had a detrimental effect on the migratory patterns of birds.
And sea life as well.
And sea life and just other, like nocturnal creatures and affecting their sleep rhythms and everything. So
yeah, there's so many sad videos of the sea turtles that
go
the wrong way.
Go the wrong way. Those
and
baby sea
the
turtles.
cameraman, I'm like, why can't you just turn them around?
Because they can't. They're
They
not
can't.
allowed to interfere. So point your lights down, people. Anyway. Okay, moving on. Mesopotamian culture. So there's a Babylonian epic poem called Enuma Elish, and the Milky Way is created from the severed tail of the primeval saltwater dragoness Tiamat. And so set in the sky by Marduk, the Babylonian national god, after slaying her. This story was thought to be based on like an old Sumerian tale, but the story was actually created as propaganda to show that essentially the Babylonian Marduk was superior to Sumerian deities.
Marduk, I love that one. I love Marduk.
So the Babylonians basically made their own story just to say we're better than Sumeria was. That sounds very American.
Right, I was thinking the same
American.
thing.
Very American.
So basically, cultures from all over the place saw the Milky Way just in very different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Some people saw it as a river and such. And
now, how we get, though, the term Milky Way comes from basically how we currently identify the majority of the constellations in the northern hemisphere, at least, and that is from the ancient Greeks. and Romans, but Romans stole Greek
Romans
shit.
stole everything.
So essentially, the Greek name for Milky Way was Galaxius, which meant milk.
But Galaxius.
Galaxius.
What a name!
You know, now
Galaxius.
I think anytime that we have cereal, it's gotta be. Hey, I gotta
Hey,
pour some
you got any-
Galaxius.
do you have any cashew Galaxius?
Gotta pour the Galaxius in the.
Give me that good goat's Galaxius.
So they saw it essentially, and how I never actually really knew the Greek story behind it. I never looked it up,
Yeah.
which I'm going to tell you one right now in a second. But I would just say, oh, they called it, galactic, which was Latin for milk because it looked like spilt milk in the sky. So that's what I would say.
Have a time.
It looked like spilt milk. Okay, here we go. Are you sitting down? Get ready for this. One legend from the ancient Greeks explains how the Milky Way is created by when Heracles, or more commonly known as Hercules, and so Hercules' father was Zeus, of course, and his mother was the mortal Alcmene. Zeus, as we all know, married to Hera. Zeus, a player. Hera, very jealous. So, essentially, Hera did not like Heracles from the get-go because, yeah. And so Heracles, he, Zeus let Heracles suckle on Hera's milk from her teats while she was asleep.
This is so funny, just watching you try to tell this story in like a G-rated way.
And so what this would do is apparently endow the baby with godlike qualities. I guess the milk of a goddess.
You would think that the sperm of the god would do that.
You would think so, but apparently it's the milk of the goddess teats.
That wasn't in the Disney movie.
It was not. But Hera woke up, saw this fucking infant, not hers, suckling on her. She pushed him away, and the spurting milk from her teat then formed the Milky Way.
What the fuck?
So the Milky Way is spurted breast milk.
Yep. Yeah. Spur the Galaxius.
Put that in your White Russian and drink it.
Well done with that.
Jack says that all the podcast listeners are missing the blushing of Liz. Can you tell that I'm blushing?
Yes, yeah, everybody
I do
can.
have blush on. All right.
All right. Well, actually, society saw all kinds of different ways up there, from breast milk to rivers to hay
to straw
to a dog's way up
Yeah.
there. So. Why don't we now talk about what the Milky Way actually really is?
That makes sense.
Because it's clearly not breast milk.
What?
It's clearly not.
It's in the notes. That's exactly what it is.
What do we do now?
That means all this shit is
You know what?
wrong.
Katie on YouTube says, "Who knew breast milk could be so powerful?" And all women, all right, because we're powerful beings.
It's not. It's not the breast milk that's all powerful. It's two things. It is, yes, this is the breast milk to give give Hercules the godlike qualities. So yes, it is all powerful, but it's also the boob that shot it out was.
If there's
really
if there's
powerful.
one reason to have a baby, it's to be able to squirt milk out of your boobs.
Well, that's reason number one. All right, folks. So what is the Milky Way Galaxy?
Wow. Okay. All right.
Welcome to Cosmos, everyone. Fully
All
live
right.
in studio.
All right. So the Milky Way, is a galaxy. But what is a galaxy?
Yeah.
Galaxy really is just a collection of, the stars.
Space shit.
Space shit. So stars, the planets go around those stars, moons,
But
comets, asteroids.
Nebulae.
But that
Nebulae.
nebulae, because
Black
then you can
holes.
call like globular cluster galaxies, but you got to add the nebulae in there as
Nebulae.
well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well,
Do globular
okay.
clusters Or no, globular clusters are part of galaxies.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can have globular clusters that have been ejected from galaxies. We'll get into it further down the line. Let's focus on galaxies
Okay,
first.
but what is a galaxy? Go.
Well, it's a collection of
Collection of
stars.
spaceship.
It's a collection of stars, the planets that go around it, the moons that go around those planets, asteroids, comets, nebulae, black holes, white dwarfs. I mean, the dead star stuff. So black holes, neutron stars, that
Dark
type
matter.
of thing. I would argue the globular clusters that go around it. Yes, dark matter, exactly. Proven to exist by Vera Rubin. May she rest in peace. Give her the goddamn Nobel Prize, people.
So then basically, in a nutshell, the universe is just like a collection of galaxies.
Yes, the galaxy of galaxies.
Stop it.
But you know what? When we think of galaxies, we think of the Milky Way. We think of spiral galaxies and the beautiful spiral shape.
those arms.
Yeah, and those are the types of galaxies that that just make NASA pictures beautiful and
And
like the Pinwheel Galaxy.
Yeah, they look beautiful. And how many stars, for example, are in like a typical galaxy like the Milky Way?
Well, the Milky Way has between 100 and 400 billion stars in it.
Yeah.
Give or take a few.
Do we know if where the Milky Way ranks in the terms of galaxies? Like our sun being like a mid-sized star, like our galaxy, is it kind of middle of the range?
We're a bigger
or-
galaxy, aren't we?
We're a bigger galaxy,
Okay.
yeah.
We're
So-
far from the biggest.
We're not. No. The Andromeda Galaxy
Oh, it's
is,
going to dwarf us.
twice the size as the Milky Way.
Yeah.
But there's basically three types of galaxies. You have spiral galaxies, which we all think of when we think of galaxies, because that's what our
Yeah,
Milky
they're
Way is,
pretty.
and it's what makes beautiful galaxies. But then you have what are called elliptical galaxies, which do not have spiral shape in it. You can think of them as like football shape, basketball shape. They don't have any spiral
Like
arm
the
structure.
cigar galaxy.
What's that?
Like the cigar galaxy.
Yeah, or M87, which is, if you have not seen the new black hole picture, go check it out. From Event Horizon. Event Horizon Telescope. So, but you also have what are called irregular galaxies. So these are galaxies that are just bizarre in shape,
Yeah, and they're generally the smaller, right?
They're
because
smaller.
they're just kind of.
and they're probably being ripped apart by larger galaxies like the Milky Way.
Like the large and small Magellanic Clouds you can find in the southern hemisphere are two irregular galaxies that our galaxy is currently consuming
Mm-hmm.
in what would be called
Galactic
Cannibalism.
Now, because
Thank you.
that sounded terrible, Galactic Cannibalism.
Galactic Cannibalism.
So, the Milky Way has about 60 irregular galaxies that are companions to it.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, about 60.
Now, why don't we just call those dwarf galaxies as opposed to irregular galaxies? Like
Well, I mean, yeah,
They're
there are
not.
some dwarf galaxies.
Almost could be planets, Brandon.
But those are the three types. So, and spiral galaxies tend to be the most photogenic of
Yeah,
them.
they're
and
real
so,
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Our galaxy will not remain a spiral galaxy.
Well,
It
even
will
right now, we're a
change.
barred spiral galaxy.
We are a bard, and the bard means that if you look at the central bulge of our galaxy, there appears to be kind of a bar that's it's not completely circular. What are we doing?
You said bulge.
What am I supposed to call it? That's what it's called. The
I
Galactic Bulge.
I know,
But it's funny.
hilarious.
Space can be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Uranus. Uranus is nothing but a straight game.
Hey, you know what? This is a family show,
Is that your
guys.
central bulge? You just happen to see me.
All right, so where's it going? I don't even know.
Anyway.
I don't even know what I was saying now.
It's types of galaxies, barred spiral, irregulars.
Yeah, and our galaxy is not going to remain that way. It will actually turn into a different type of galaxy
Is
later
that
on
are you when something happens to it?
when something happens to it, which I think we're going to get to at some point
Okay.
in here. Oh yeah, the future of the Milky Way right down there, Bob.
I got you.
All right. So let's talk about our Milky Way a little bit. It's got various parts to it.
Like a bulge.
Like the bulge.
Like the bulge. And in the bulge is the black hole.
Oh.
Wait a minute. I just got excited about the black hole.
That black hole's near that in that center.
And not just any black hole, mind you.
No.
Excited about black hole. Middle school all over again. So, all right. So anyway, yeah, it's like this is not a small black hole, not at all.
No, it means business.
It's a little large, and it is about 4.1 to 4.5 million times the mass of the sun.
Man, that's so big. You might just call it a supermassive black hole.
Exactly.
My goodness.
And it's located in the constellation in the direction of Sagittarius. So maybe we can just call it, I don't know, Sagittarius A star.
Now, when you actually look at Sagittarius and the constellation, just line our connected dots, it's actually where the end of the arrow is, as the centaur is drawing the arrow. So it's easy to point out.
Oh, yeah.
So the centaur is actually pointing to it.
Phil, if you
with
will,
his
from
arrow.
Hercules.
Phil's going to shoot it in the hole.
Oh my god. Alright, so this is completely devolving. Alright, so that's in the Galactic Bulge, the center of the galaxy. The Galactic Bulge is filled with old stars. These are older stars. There's not a lot of gas and dust in the central bulge of the galaxy, so you don't have a lot of star formation going on.
Yeah, most of that is happening in the spiral arms.
Yes, and the spiral arms, which is where we are, radiates out from the central bulge of the galaxy. And there are 4 main spiral arms that go around the center of the galaxy. We're in this kind of little spur.
We're in an offshoot.
We're in an offshoot, yes we are. It's called the Orion Cygnus Arm, but we usually just call it the Orion Arm. And we're about 25,000 light years away from the center of the galaxy. So if we were to aim our really strong maglite, a little flashlight, green laser, if we were to aim a green laser at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, it would take 25,000 years to get there. I am not going to say that I haven't done that, because I have done that.
You've done it?
I've done it, and those photons are still going.
Did you make sure there weren't any planes in the way? Because that's that's
So-
a no-no.
So speaking of lasers and pointing towards the center of the galaxy, which I've done as well, one of the really cool things to do when you're at the star party is you see like green lasers all over the place as
Do you
people
have
are
laser
pointing.
fights?
Then you have lightsaber fights, and they're being very professional, so you don't realize you're doing it. But you still fight them regardless, because they extend all the way through. It's like you're touching the stars.
Yeah, green lasers. Pointing a green laser at the sky is really fun.
It really should be on everyone's bucket list.
It really.
So we're about 25,000 light years away from the center of the galaxy, and it takes our sun about 240 million years to go around the sun once. Around the center of the galaxy once. And
so go ahead.
I was just going to say, so that's 1 year for our sun, right? So the last time our sun was here, dinosaurs were roaming the Earth. So
And that makes our sun like 12 years old.
no, 18 to 20 years old.
18 to 20 years old.
Yep.
In galactic yearly time frames?
Yeah.
Wow, so it's just a kid.
We can't even drink yet.
We can vote though.
We can vote.
That's true.
We can't drink.
We can't drink.
We can
We
vote
can't drink.
Palpatine out of office finally.
And we did.
And, all right, so our sun, yes, we did. Our sun is, that's a Star Wars reference, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, it's a
hey,
Star
it's a Star Wars
Wars
reference. I
reference.
didn't even know this.
Drink!
You didn't even make it. You didn't notice, but you made it. All right, so our sun currently is heading, though, in its voyage around the center of the galaxy.
Its orbit?
In its orbit, heading towards the star in the direction of the star Vega. And we're going 220 kilometers per second, which is about 450,000 miles per hour. So it sounds pretty fast, but it takes us 8 days for our sun to travel just 93 million miles, which is 1 AU. It takes 1,400 years for it to travel 1 light year
Okay.
at that speed.
Space is big. Got it. Space is big.
Space is big.
Melts. Well, that's interesting. So we're traveling in the direction of Vega,
Mm-hmm.
and with the rate of the Earth's precession, so its wobble on its axis. In fact, in about 12,000 years from now, the closest star to the North Pole will be Vega.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Earth's precession.
Vega's our future North Star, and the sun is heading in the direction of Vega in the galaxy. That's interesting.
But one that would touch Vega.
No.
No, we know. Yeah, never will.
We will
Nope.
Because
never
Vega's
touch
moving
Vega.
too.
That's true. Everything is moving. Everything in space is moving.
Yeah.
So in say how fast you're going, it just depends what you point the references.
Yeah, you need a point of
Exactly.
reference to say how fast you're going. Otherwise, whatever number you give is meaningless.
Hey, context matters.
Does. So next time you get pulled over, just say that the cop was moving. And yeah, so
I'll let you know how that goes.
yeah. Don't tell him you heard that on Cosmos of Cosmos.
Or do, because
Another listener, hey.
Yeah, it's
bad
true.
publicity is good publicity. Am I right?
Also, if you are going to get pulled over, make sure that you have a. If it looks like a cop's down the road, just pull in next to a big semi truck, because
hide yourself.
well, no, because even all right. So the cop is shooting the radar at you. We're assuming the cop's not shooting a laser, but let's assume it's
LiDAR. Isn't it?
LiDAR. Yeah, let's assume it's just like actual radar.
Mm-hmm.
What that radar is going to pick up is really the biggest thing. So it's going to pick up the speed of the truck more than it's going to pick up you.
Oh.
So
It's going to pick up my ego, am I right?
That's tips for evading speeding tickets from Cosmos the Cosmos.
Get behind the semi, really quick.
yeah, that's all you got to do. All right, so we're out kind of in the suburbs of the Milky Way galaxy, out in the Spiral Arms.
The Boondocks.
We talked about the bulge of the Milky Way. Now you got me laughing about it.
I know,
Spiral
you
Arms.
can never think about it the same way again.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But there is also one more thing called a halo. And the halo also is filled...
No, not that Halo.
Yeah, not that Halo.
No. We need to play that
I
again.
know, now
But
I want to
anyway,
play Halo. Oh my god.
Well, we can do that. The original. We have to do the original, though.
Oh.
With the big giant Xbox
Yes.
system link with Mountain Dew.
Maybe we get, yeah.
okay, anyway, so you have the Galactic Halo, which is this envelops kind of the Milky Way. And I read one thing that said that the halo, you have the stellar halo with stars, but you also have the gaseous halo of it. And if you combine the mass of those two, it is actually greater than the Milky Way itself,
Oh,
which
wow.
I found really interesting.
Wow. Yeah.
And the halo, that is where most of the globular clusters are located, right? Because they're off the plane and they're kind of these super old clusters of stars, right? They're just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, and there's
They're just
hanging out orbiting the
there.
Milky Way,
Yeah.
crashing through the spiral arms as they orbit the Milky Way.
What a life.
Yeah, but it's also where the dark matter resides. And one of my heroes in astronomy, Dr. Vera Rubin, she fucking people, but
It's okay.
she lived in a time where
It's okay.
her advisor was basically picked a project for her that would be tame and
Good, easy enough for her small, fragile woman mind.
yeah, but also that nothing controversial would come from it. And so it's not. I mean, it is science, right? But it doesn't. What the advisor thought was going to happen was it wasn't really going to push the boundaries of astronomy and physics knowledge.
It would just color in some of it.
But it turned out to turn things upside down. So what her job was to look at stars and measure how fast they were moving around the center of the galaxy. And if you look at our solar system as an example, when you're close to the sun, you have to move faster because you're experiencing more gravity, and to overcome that gravitational pull, you have to move faster to orbit the sun. But as you move further out from the sun, things slow down. You don't have to move as fast, and it's called a Keplerian orbit. It's a Kepler orbit, and they were thinking.
I don't think I've ever heard that term before. Keplerian orbit.
Yeah, well, I've had a drink. I'm probably not saying it correctly.
But I love it.
Keplerian orbit.
Keplerian orbit.
Yeah, so
Kips.
the thought was that if you look at the Milky Way galaxy, that you are going to find the exact same thing happen. So as you move further from the center of the galaxy, the stars are going
logically.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You can base it off solar system.
Yeah.
What Vera Rubin found, though, is that the stars did not slow down. That in fact, it became kind of a straight line, and it should not be that way. And if it is a straight line, the further out you are, the faster you're going, or you're going fast enough where you might be able to leave the galaxy. And so the thought is that, well, if these speeds are correct, then the galaxy should just kind of disintegrate. Stars should go.
Everything should just fly apart.
Yeah, should fly apart, exactly. So what the hell's going on? This is in the 1970s, by the way, that Vera Rubin is doing this. What she had done was that
the 1970s. This isn't like 1760s.
No, this is
like when Star Wars was coming out.
Oh, is that a reference?
Oh, God damn it.
Might as well.
Actually, I think it's right about the same time, 1977. So what she found, what she had discovered was proof that dark matter existed. And so there's this force that is causing the stars to move faster than they should be moving. I shouldn't say force. There is...
I was going to jump on that.
Yeah, no, it's not, so there's matter
there's something
that we can't see, that we don't understand what it is, and the only way that we know it's there is because we see its influence on things we can see.
Yeah.
And there were so many theories as to what dark matter... This is going to be a whole other podcast, clearly, as to what dark matter is supposed to be.
Machos and wimps.
Machos and wimps. And these ideas, basically, we'd be able to see them, like really dark, big objects that we just can't really see with visible light or at wavelengths we're seeing. But it's not those things.
Yeah.
So it's some kind of other undetectable...
Something with mass.
And it's fascinating.
Yeah. All right. So I called them machos and wimps. Those actually mean something.
Oh, yeah.
Wimps mean weakly interacting massive particles. These are things smaller than atoms, molecules.
They're really
whatever.
Tiny.
Yeah, these
They're
are
wimps.
quantum scale objects.
Unimaginably tiny.
These are quantum scale objects. And the weakly interacting part means that they don't really interact with normal matter like tables and people and dogs and microphones and cameras and shit very, very well. So they interact weakly with them. They don't interact with them that much. They don't like us.
Oh, they're antisocial.
They're antisocial.
They're antisocial particles.
Without killing people, but yes. Machos mean massive compact halo objects. And so these are things like brown dwarfs, maybe black holes that we can't see, but massive compact halo objects that are in the halos of galaxies. And so the Hubble Space Telescope is looking for evidence of machos.
And didn't we disprove the macho theory in the last 10 years?
Well, we have tightly constrained what a macho can be, and so now it's looking more like it is wimps, and so turns out these wimps are a little more
macho. The wimps are a little more macho than we thought.
Yeah. And so so we'll see.
That's a nice. That'll be a nice comeback story for those wimps.
I know, right?
You know.
Man, we have so
They're
far
like
to go.
the little giants in all of us.
Yeah.
Anyone? No?
No.
Somebody. Katie, help me out. Little giants.
I get it.
All right.
All right, well.
They're like the Mighty Ducks in
it's
all
the
of
same
us.
thing.
All right, well, continuing on. I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's unusual.
I know, right? Is the Milky Way the only galaxy?
Depends what year you asked us.
Currently, no.
No, a strong no.
No, very strong.
All right,
no.
let's go back. Let's go back in time. Let's go back to April 26th of 1920.
Yeah?
What is the Milky Way the only galaxy?
They're looking at me like I know old stuff. Oh, wait a minute.
And this is what you
So-
got excited
my
about
goodness.
to talk about.
So even before we started this podcast, we brought up what we're about to talk about, something called the Great Debate. And I go, wait a minute, I have a book about this. So I ran up to my new bedroom, and I got a book, and I thought it had it in there, but it was written in 1909. So that was before the Great Debate. The idea of the Milky Way being the all-encompassing universe was really the leading idea for hundreds of years of science. Like we can look up there, the big old, titty milk up there. That's it. That's all that possibly can be, because we didn't have the proper telescopes possible to actually view the other nebulae we were calling at the time and discern if they were other galaxies with billions of their own stars and all these other contributing factors, or if they're little fuzzy things of gas.
I mean, that's like how we thought the sun was at the center of the universe
exactly.
this whole time. We didn't have the technology to say otherwise or prove otherwise.
Yes,
rather.
so that comes up in this debate.
Yeah, it actually does,
in this great debate, two leading scientists of the time, cosmologists at the time, Harlow Shapley and Herbert Curtis. It was kind of like the young folks going into the old folks, because I think it was Shapley that was around 30-something years old, and Curtis was like in his 60s, except it was flipped, and that the young guy had the idea of the Milky Way is all there is.
Oh, okay.
And the old guy had a new idea.
The old guy was like, "Oh, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, we might be wrong here."
These whippersnappers and their old ideas.
Yeah, so the old guy, I'll just call him the old guy, really believed that those nebulae we're seeing out there may actually be other galaxies full of the billions of other stars and planets and their own, basically whole habitats. And the young guy saying, no, all there is, and those little nebulae we're seeing out there, they're just bits of gas.
I'm sorry.
They're just...
Leia, come here.
Uh-oh. What did she get?
Something she's not supposed to get.
Oh boy. So...
All right, anyway, continue.
And the young guy's thinking all the nebulae, the gas things, they're just bits of gas orbiting the Milky Way itself. And so this debate had been going on for years in journals and things like that. And in 1919, they wrote to each other and decided to actually have this big debates at
It's the Smithsonian.
At the Smithsonian. Oh, what a place to have a debate like that. So the following year, 1920, they got together in front of an audience and had this immense debate as to, what is the nature of the universe? Which is an incredible topic when you don't actually know. And this happened, within somebody's lifetime, honestly, 100 years ago. That's incredible. Like, history is so recent. And so the debate went again. We talked about it back and forth. And another subject that was brought up during this debate is, where is the sun within the context of the universe? And of course, that depends who you ask. If you ask the guy who thinks that the Milky Way is just one galaxy out of many galaxies, then it's just going to be another star. Yeah. But if the Milky Way is the galaxy, well, then we can actually position the sun in relation to the cosmos. And so the young guy said, the sun's actually near the center of the cosmos.
Backwards.
Oh, what? Did I get that wrong?
Yeah, so, all right, so... so the old guy is Curtis, and the young guy is Shapley, and because that's the only way I can remember it. I got you. All right, so Curtis believes that there are other galaxies out there, and that Shapley believes that it's just the Milky Way, right? And so Curtis's model of the universe actually had the sun near the center of the universe, and Shapley did not.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And so when you think the Milky Way is all that is, we have been mapping the Milky Way, the stars that we can see, for hundreds of years, but really got going with William and Caroline Herschel when they actually got a magnificent map of the sky. But of course, when you're looking out with just your naked eye, well, not naked eye, with the telescopes, and judging what you can see, everything is going to appear as if it is all around you anyway, because we don't have enough power to see beyond that. They were thinking the sun's in the center because it's obvious. Look at this evidence that we have. So it's not like they're saying, look at that hubris, we're important. They had evidence at the time to back it up. It was just not complete evidence because they didn't have the telescopes.
Yeah.
So Curtis was looking at the stars. Shapley was looking at the globular clusters. The globular clusters are centered around the center of the galaxy, 25,000 light years away. So you see them off in the distance.
Right.
So it's interesting that in this debate, they both won on certain points. Curtis wins on the larger question of what the debate was about. Is the Milky Way the only galaxy out there? And no. By far, no.
And it was, I think, less than a year later that Edwin Hubble found the Cepheid variables in Andromeda Galaxy.
Yep.
And that basically told them that this galaxy, this nebulae, is really far away. It's so far away, there's no way it can be inside of the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah.
Right. And interestingly enough, Shapley actually used distance as as one of the points he was trying to make, in that the Milky Way was the only galaxy that was out there. And he used Andromeda, and he said that if Andromeda were outside of the galaxy, it would be on the order of 100 million light years away.
Which turns out...
which at the time was too fucking far for astronomers to go.
They're like, we don't want to deal with this yet.
Well,
Nope.
Which, I mean, even when you talk, with space people, it's just mind-boggling how big space is. So you can't blame folks. You can't blame people who had, an 80-inch telescope tops to judge how far away X galaxies are.
I mean, it's already mind-melting now that...
And even the first person to think that these nebulae are actually galaxies in their own right didn't have a telescope. He was just, thinking out loud. That was Immanuel Kant in the 1700s. He was just thinking, what if... Actually, it would make sense if those are actually galaxies out there without, billions of their own stars. And he also thought, just based off thought experiments, of how stars are formed as well, with disks around them. So just by thinking, he was like, yeah, this is about right. Shit.
Yeah.
Which, I think it's just an amazing thing. Our brain is smart enough to... It's dumb in...
It's dumb in a
lot of ways. But it's smart enough to, think about these nebulae as being, distant galaxies.
That's what we call evolution.
Yeah.
Thanks, evolution.
Yeah, and with
and
Curtis...
also, we're sorry.
I know, right? But I think somebody said in chat, we made dogs.
We did make dogs.
So
we made dogs.
But then we also made season 8 of Game of Thrones, so it evens out.
That's it.
All right. But it's really cool that our brains can, think about these things and do what Einstein liked to call thought experiments.
So if our brains can study the cosmos and get to know it, then our brains are made of the cosmos. That means, you want to say it, Liz?
We are the cosmos.
We are a way for the cosmos to know itself.
Oh. Yes, thank you, Dr. Sagan.
But in the end, Curtis wins the debate, and he actually wins. I mean, in the points he was trying to make was he looked at it. It seems like Andromeda is really quite central to this whole debate. And so Shapley is saying it's 100 million light years away, whereas in reality, Hubble later on would say, hey, it's 2.5 million light years away, 2.9 million light years away.
But just to interject real fast, it is the largest, closest galaxy to our Milky Way galaxy.
Heading towards us, guys.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. Will we, though?
And then within the context of the time, of course, they didn't come to a decision. They were just debating it. But Curtis was an extraordinarily skilled orator at the time. So the audience kind of swayed towards Curtis just because he spoke and presented his thought so clearly and so well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
So Shapley had Adrian Van Manen as one of... He used Adrian Van Manen as evidence that the Milky Way was all there was into the universe. And Adrian Van Manen, he said that he observed the Pinwheel Galaxy in his telescope rotating. Now, in today's world, we know that that is not correct.
Yeah.
At all. So when you look at the Pinwheel Galaxy, it's very distant from us. If you could see it actually rotating in real time in your telescope, that galaxy is going to disintegrate, would no longer be with
I was
us.
going to say, how long has he been looking at this galaxy to see it?
About 225 million years.
Yeah. And so Shapley uses that as an argument that that the Milky Way was all there was. Turns out, though, that is not correct. And Curtis did say that if Van Manen was correct, he would change his mind, which to me, really and truly, is what a true scientist will do.
If people are presented evidence, you believe the evidence because it's evidence, and you change your mind. That's how it works. If you believed one thing 20 years ago, it's okay to believe something else today based on evidence.
Yes.
So,
you're allowed to grow and adapt and change your perceptions and ideas based on new evidence presented to you that has been verified and is objective.
So everybody, be more like Curtis.
Change your minds based on evidence.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I actually did not know this, but this was the first thing that popped in my head. Brandon said that Curtis is the older guy in this. And the way that things typically happen in the world of physics and astronomy is that people that are young will actually propose the theories that change the way that we see the universe. And as the older you get, you don't really see what Curtis did.
Isn't there like a typical age? Like it's around 29, 28?
Yeah, it's 28.
And then
28's the year. So if you haven't come up with your theory of the universe...
That you get, stuck into your
that's what you win the Nobel Prize on, is your ideas before 28, and then they're built on in the later decades.
Interesting.
And so what they have found, or at least the thought is that when you hit 28, what you end up... There's a shift in your brain, or in the way that you think, and that you kind of become solidified in your thoughts. And so before 28, you're more open to new ideas about how the universe actually works. And then at 28, whether you're right or wrong, you are trying to prove what you thought when you're trying to relive your 20s, basically, is what you're trying to do.
That's good for me and Liz, because we're still about 26.
Yes.
Yeah,
we can still have a Nobel Prize.
Me too. I'm there. And so if you look at Einstein...
Fucking Einstein, yeah.
Einstein's just absolutely brilliant. He comes up with 3 papers in 1905. All 3 of these could win the Nobel Prize. He did not win his Nobel Prize for special theory of relativity, contrary to what you might think. But and it was only because physicists could not accept the special theory of relativity at the time. It was controversial.
Fuck this shit.
What he won his Nobel Prize for was the photoelectric effect, which you see all these solar panels. Thank you, Einstein. He won the Nobel Prize for that.
I feel like we could just thank Einstein for a lot of things.
A lot of stuff,
Just a lot of things.
His third paper in 1905 was about the Brownian motion, which is the motion of molecules, as they're bounced around by other molecules. And he...
Which is just stupid smart.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Molecules bounce... That's stupid smart.
Yeah, I don't even... Yeah.
So, I mean,
I
think
can
about
tie
that.
my shoes in the morning, maybe.
So, in 1905... Einstein's not even working at a university at this point. He is working in the Swiss patent office.
But he had experience at the university as well.
He is approving patents That's what he. So people come to him with a patent. They give it to him, and he works through it. At the same time, he comes up with these 3 amazing papers.
And that's because he loved the job because it gave him so much time to think as well. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he was...
He had to think through these patents. And it's just an amazing thing. But fast forward a little bit. And beyond 1917, which is when the general theory of relativity is finally kind of rolled out, he doesn't accept the modern version of what quantum physics is. He is tied to the classical theory.
He gets stuck in his ways.
Special theory of relativity and general theory of relativity are what physicists would call classical theories. These are, at the heart, kind of like Newtonian theories. And so he was set in that way in thinking that the universe is classical and could not accept that the universe is, there's a quantum probability to the way that the universe works. But also, he became so set in a way that gravity could be married to the electromagnetic force, because if you look at their equations in physics, they're basically the same. They have the same structure to them. And he's thought that they could be the same. It turns out, no, they can't. But at least not in our current way of seeing things. But, or at least his in the 1940s and 50s. And so
when he died, wasn't he working on the grand unifying theory?
He was working on it, and the thing is that you need quantum physics to be able to unify electromagnetism with gravity. And he refused to accept quantum.
I mean, in his defense, quantum is hard to think about.
Well,
but to be fair, he's also literally Einstein.
Yeah.
Not just an Einstein.
Literally.
The Einstein.
Yes, he's the Einstein in this. But what he didn't like, he had no problem with some aspects of quantum physics. In fact, with the photoelectric effect, he actually uses quantum in that.
Okay.
So, however, what he did not like and refused to accept was the probabilistic, I can't say it.
Probability?
Probability nature of quantum physics. And
you have the famous quote.
Yeah, the famous quote where Einstein says, God does not play dice. And Niels Bohr was like, not only does God play dice, sometimes he doesn't even know where the dice go, or that's paraphrasing.
And it's actually marbles.
Yeah, and so
we have gone down the rabbit hole here of the Milky Way galaxy down to probabilistic possibilities. So
I'll tell you what, let's talk about one more thing. And then we will wrap it up and go on into our hangover.
Okay.
What is the future? What's the future of the Milky Way?
I think the Milky Way is going to grow old. It's going to retire to a nice suburb area, raise a couple of dogs, and just kind of live out the rest of its days in peace.
It's going to have some nice...
It's
going to get some rocking chairs to sit out on the porch and yell at the kids to get off its fucking grass.
Yeah.
So
the Milky Way is Mike and Liz.
Yeah.
Nah, but really. Remember when we mentioned that Andromeda Galaxy that was much bigger than the Milky Way Galaxy? Liz...
Yeah. Well, turns out, funny story, Andromeda headed right for us.
It's coming right for us.
Coming right at us.
You know how fast it's coming towards us?
Fast.
80 miles per second.
80 miles
shit.
per second, folks.
Oh, shit. So, essentially, 4.5 billion years from now? That's funny, because our solar system is 4.5 billion years old. Interesting. But in about 4.5 billion years from now, when also the sun is turning into a red giant and expanding to our deaths as all species on Earth, the Milky Way, or the Andromeda Galaxy, is going to start colliding with the Milky Way Galaxy. Now, we've mentioned Galactic Cannibalism, which is my favorite scientific term ever. I love it so much. But galactic cannibalism is when a larger galaxy consumes a smaller galaxy. Like Pac-Man eating all those little dots. Chomping them down. But because Andromeda it's twice as large as our galaxy, but our galaxy is still large enough that it can fight for itself. Basically, it can hold its own against Andromeda. So essentially, these galaxies are going to start interacting and essentially just beginning to merge together before they eventually just become one galaxy.
What would you call that galaxy, Liz?
Apparently, it's going to be called Milkdromeda.
Milkdromeda! Assuming English is the predominant language at the time.
Which it won't be.
It won't be. No.
Let's see. Milky Way,
Humanity won't be
Andromeda,
here.
Milkdromeda,
Andromeda Way.
Andromeda Way.
Andromeda Way.
No, it's got to be Milkdromeda.
And Galaxis.
And Galaxis.
And Galaxis.
Let's just call it Galaxis. What are we doing?
Galaxis. No, because that just means milk.
What's the problem?
Okay.
We live in the Milky Way.
That's
We
true.
call it Galaxis.
That's true. There's no other intelligent life possibly in the Andromeda Galaxy that could reign supreme. But okay, so that then brings up a point. If our two say the Earth is fine, that the sun's not gonna swallow us in its death throes. And there's
really quick, death throes is only a phrase you hear when it comes to space. I've never heard death throes anywhere
Really?
else except for the
I
stars.
feel like I've heard it
Oh,
elsewhere,
I
but
think I've heard it elsewhere.
I don't know, but
But
I
anyway.
like it. Okay, so let's assume big assumption that humanity is still around as a dominant species on this planet.
Well, we'll be like computerized quantum.
We're making, like I said,
Won't
big
be.
assumption. Big assumption.
Won't be.
How would that affect us? It most likely won't have any effect on us whatsoever, other than our sky's gonna end up
It'll
looking
look
real
really cool.
crazy.
It'll look really cool. But you know what I think is the greatest thing about this thing is?
What?
Hardly any stars collide in this collision.
Hardly
Yeah!
any. So Milky Way has 200 billion. Andromeda has what?
We'll say 400 billion.
We'll
Let's
say
just say
400
it's twice.
Yeah.
Oh.
So 600 billion stars in this galactic just car
Just
crash.
a galactic rave happening.
Yeah. So the two galaxies are going to swing past each other at first, and then they're going to come back, and they're just going to slam into each other. And what does slamming galaxies mean? It's just like two clouds passing through each other. That's really all it is. Stars are so small compared to the distances that separate them that when galaxies collide, hardly any stars run into each other.
No, really quick. You could very easily fit every single planet in the solar system inside the sun many times over.
Yeah.
We're calling that small. That's how big space is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I mean, there is like an off chance that like gravitational forces could cause like the Earth or a planet to like be flung out of our solar system. But that's a very remote possibility.
Well, what is a bigger chance, and it's a slight chance, but a bigger chance is that the sun will be thrown from the galaxy, and the Earth, whatever shape it's in at that point, is just going to go with it. So the planets are just going to go with it. So you have these 600 billion stars that collide. Maybe roughly about 10 will hit each other, and that's it. And that's all.
Do you have better odds of winning the lottery?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
By far, you have
Go buy
better
those
odds.
tickets. Unless you're in Utah, then you got to go out of state.
Really?
Yeah, you can't. There's no lottery here. You
What?
can't. I'm
It's
sorry.
too late now. You gotta live here.
I can't buy booze.
Yeah, booze costs
I
more.
can't
buy
You
booze.
can't get a lottery ticket.
You can buy booze, you just can't have it shipped here legally.
And it costs
So I think that is absolutely the most amazing thing.
But also, like, the time frames for this, it's going to take hundreds of millions of years or
it's a
more
slow
for
collision.
the galaxies to even, like,
At
merge
least
together.
at least 4 months when it comes to sun time.
Yes.
That's true. It's a slow collision. I when I was in the planetarium and I was telling people about this, the planetarium that we were at, all three of us were at, is 60 feet across. And I told people if you have one group of people at one end of the planetarium, at the entrance we'll say, and the other people at the exit of the planetarium, which is all the way across the room, and you had them roll marbles at each other, most of those marbles are just going to pass right by each other and not even hit each other. That's the way it is
Like
with
strangers
this.
passing in the night.
I was gonna say, yeah.
That's the way it is with this collision that's in 4.5 billion years. So everybody, wait up, eat your veggies, wait up, and it's going to be an amazing sight.
Sweet.
And by the way, the Andromeda Galaxy you can see in the night sky right now. It's in the
well, in the autumn. In the autumn.
It is. It's an autumn constellation. It's an autumn object.
In the constellation of, wait for it,
Andromeda.
Hey.
You didn't wait for it.
I waited.
Dramatic pause.
I waited. And by the way, the Andromeda Galaxy is one of 3 galaxies that you can see in the night sky with your one of 4 galaxies that you can see in the night sky with just your unaided eyes. They are the Milky Way, large and small Magellanic Clouds, and the Andromeda Galaxy. The Andromeda Galaxy and the Milky Way are the only ones you can see in the northern hemisphere.
With a real good night sky, mind you.
Yeah, not in this city bullshit.
The Andromeda Galaxy, when you see it in the night sky, you're basically seeing the center of the Andromeda Galaxy, the Galactic Bulge.
Because it's the brightest bit.
Yep. It is actually bigger than the full moon. Bigger than the moon in our sky. Mm-hmm. It's just that you can't see the outer regions because they're dim.
So, should I have one last question to wrap us up for this episode, or should we wait for the hangover?
Ask your question.
Ask the question.
So, we had mentioned earlier in the episode that we have a very, 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 very supermassive black hole in the center of our galaxy.
Yes.
The Andromeda is much bigger and probably has a bigger black hole in the center of its galaxy. So, as they collide, what happens to those black holes? Do they collide?
Do they
what's going on there?
They will merge.
They will
eventually merge.
together.
They do.
To make like a super massive black hole?
Exactly. So, as these black holes, and you will not want to be
anywhere
near these black holes. I mean, you don't want to be near the black hole anyway.
You know what? I will die to see that. Let's be real.
Yeah, hashtag with it. Yeah.
So the black holes, really and truly, a galactic merger is a merger of black holes. That's really what it is. The black holes just bring everything with it. They bring everything to the party.
I mean, essentially, is a supermassive black hole at the center of a galaxy. Is that kind of like what's holding the galaxy together?
Well, no, it doesn't have nearly enough mass to actually hold everything together. It's just a result of various mechanisms.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so these black holes they come in, these galaxies come in, and the black holes, they do this dance around each other, and eventually they get to where they are orbiting each other. Mm-hmm. As they orbit each other, they send out gravitational waves. And at first, this is cool, whatever.
It's fine.
These are minor gravitational waves. Mm-hmm. So you get a little stretchy. It feels good, right? Stretches out the back.
Oh, thank God, finally.
I know, right? So, but these gravitational waves, they rob energy from these black holes that are orbiting each other. And so what these black holes end up doing is they grow closer and closer and closer. And as they grow closer, they have to move faster. And so they start orbiting each other really, really fast, which sends out more gravitational waves, which steals more energy, and eventually they touch and they become one supermassive black hole. In this eruption of gravitational waves that go out into the universe, and then some planet many light years away has a gravitational wave observatory, maybe called LIGO or something, and they're actually able to detect these gravitational waves. And they will see at that point the Andromeda Galaxy and the Milky Way Galaxy, their black holes have become one.
Someone once told me romance is dead. I don't believe that to be the case anymore.
No, because that right there is the galactic climax.
The galactic climax,
in the central bulge.
It's the galactic climax in the central bulge. I think we're done
in the black hole. In the hole.
In the hole.
The galactic climax. What's my Twitter at?
And, all right. So that I think what that concludes.
Yeah. That
concludes our look at the Milky Way. No, it is not made out of milk.
But strangely, at the same time, possibly.
Join us next time as we look at how much bang was in the Big Bang.
My joke's just hitting him right now.
Well, no, it was. Not just now. It was earlier, but
Jack had Jack has had some really good ones throughout this episode that we haven't touched
Their
on,
bulges
but
touched.
their bulges touched. Thank you, Jack. Thank you.
All right, so join us next time on Cosmos as we look at how much bang was in the Big Bang. And with that, bye everybody.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
For those of you joining us now on YouTube, stick around because we're going to go into The Hangover and talk some random bulge shit.
So
Like what I did there. But before we do, we need some refills on drinks or whatever on
And
drinks.
bathroom breaks.
Bathroom breaks. We're going to take...
bio breaks.
We're going to take a little break. So everybody, take a break, grab a snack, grab a drink, and we will see you
In a few
in a
minutes.
minute.
Bye everybody.
Can they
everybody.
Back! We're live with The Hangover. Cosmos with Cosmos.
This is where shit gets good.
It's where shit gets real.
As opposed to the last hour and a half where it was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. We went too far down the science rabbit hole, talked about quantum mechanics for a little bit.
And a lot of bulges were
lot
happening.
of bulges.
A lot of bulges.
Bulges and holes.
What's your favorite galactic bulge?
Anyway, welcome to The Hangover.
Oh, do you have notes for this part?
well,
Somebody put notes in there.
I did, because I was just spitballing with random thoughts. So first of all, we should ask, the audience, I don't know if Jack or Katie or one of our many other fans are out there, any things that you would like us to discuss, talk about, dive into, we gladly will.
Mm-hmm.
But until that time, we have some buffer time for them to create their own questions. So let me ask you this. Our Milky Way is a bigger galaxy with about 200 to... I always say about 300 billion stars. That seems about right to me.
Okay.
But what about the galaxy that's far, far away? How big do you think...
We are suspending, after this...
Oh, absolutely.
The Star Wars drinking rule is now suspended while this question is answered.
Because we're talking about how big do you think the Star Wars galaxy is, which is actually a deep question.
It's
Well-
42.
So
Look.
42.
I mean, I would say that it's...
in terms of stars.
I'm assuming you know the answer to this?
Oh, I should have looked
I
it
mean,
up.
is there enough information to know that in reality? I mean, because if we base it just off of our knowledge of Star Wars, it's probably relatively the same size as our own galaxy, because it's probably based off our own
I
galaxy.
can't say that. No, that's going to be much smaller than their own galaxy. Think, for example, even with the warp speed they have, or whatever it is they call it, Han Solo is going from one edge of the galaxy to the other. Hyperdrive, thank you. And they're neighborhoods of major stars with civilizations around it. They're split up into the core, inner, middle, and outer sections.
Yeah.
And even within those, there's only 40, 50 actual stars that are habitable around it. And so if you imagine, the Milky Way galaxy, we can have 50 habitable planets within a galactic stone's throw. And so they don't have that many habitable planets, so it's got to be smaller.
I mean, I would assume that, yeah, it would have to be smaller just because, I mean, to have the possibility of different civilizations spread throughout a galaxy that are able to interact.
And they have a galactic House of Representatives with
To
thousands
have,
of species.
To have evolved to the point where you have multi-species civilizations with a galactic government, you would think it would need to be smaller to get that. But then again, we don't know the time frame upon their evolution, and
Mike has an
developing
answer.
that point.
Well, I have Wikipedia.
Wikipedia
That
is typically
the
right.
ultimate.
Yeah, Wikipedia.
Is it Wiki or Wookie?
Wikipedia.
Thank God.
Jack, though, on YouTube says, is Camino in the halo of that galaxy, or is it in a cannibalized or regular galaxy nearby?
Well, Camino was just a planet that wasn't in the record, so it's not necessarily out of the galaxy.
Okay.
It just wasn't in the records. I'll need to rewatch.
Well,
a
and
couple of
also,
things.
if you think about the ending to...
No, we're not doing this. But we will. So remember at the end of Empire, when Luke, Leia, and folks are in the medical
looking at
frigid.
their own galaxy from a distance...
That wasn't their own galaxy.
It was their own galaxy, then they need to... It would be relatively small to be so close to it as they were.
Except your premise
to
is
look
wrong.
At it. It was their own galaxy.
Okay, but the galaxy they live in is between 100 and 120,000 light years across. Sound familiar to everybody?
So our galaxy is 100,000.
And it's approximately 13 billion years old.
That's
So basically, they evolved on a much faster rate than our galaxy has evolved at intellectually, because we just know of us.
Yeah, the galaxy was home.
Unless there is a whole galactic government for our galaxy, but they're leaving us out because we're not ready
Sorry,
yet.
you gotta say it right. There's only one government in space, and that is the First Galactic Empire!
That one.
So this is how democracy dies, is it?
To thunderous applause.
To thunderous applause. Indeed.
It's already died a long time ago.
It was home to between 5 and 20 million sentient species.
Jack just made a good point. Evolved or manufactured?
Okay, so I've not read too many Legends Star Wars.
Okay.
So I'm assuming in Legends there has to be some kind of reference to older civilizations out there. But as far as we know within the canon, Tatooine is the oldest civilization out there. It used to be a lush green planet and it went out
now
to...
it's crap.
Yeah,
it's what climate change will do to the Earth.
Also having 2 stars.
Oh, yeah, that's a big factor. I forgot about that.
But they were the first civilization in the galaxy, and they went out to colonize several other worlds until they beat back by other civilizations, which is weird because even though they're the first ones to come out, other civilizations still beat them up. So I would think it would be evolved rather than manufactured. But I do like the idea of bringing in some Hitchhiker's Guide where people can just create planets and galaxies.
I mean, there could be some element of manufacturing. I mean, looking at the advancements in technology that they have in order to be able to link.
And to that point, not even necessarily technological advancements, but you have that Force Planet remember, from Clone Wars, and they have untold powers that can create whatever. Yes. So it's possible that the Force actually was creating galaxies.
Isn't the Force just gravity?
No. The midichlorians.
But it is, when you actually think about evolution, and obviously we have to use our own evolution as just a reference, because it's the only data point that we have currently. But if we look at our own planet's evolution and the span of star lives, because stellar evolution that's based in physics. It's not like stars can extend their lives, and just keep going forever in order to keep the civilizations around them.
To be fair, that's not a theory that Jedi would tell you.
Okay, well, if we're applying Milky Way physics to a galaxy far, far away, it's you think about how... like the time frames, like if we look at the Earth, we have needed essentially 4.5 billion years to have at least one intelligent species that can utilize radio waves.
I was going to say penguins.
I was going to say, what is that species? But you said radio waves.
To utilize radio waves. To be able to broadcast a signal is essentially what determines a species of being sort of intelligent in a sense, to communicate on that level of frequency, to be then discoverable by others.
You seeing that? You seeing that bullshit?
Midichlorians are nanobots that just fly out and do what you want.
I've never considered that as a possibility. God damn it, Lucas!
But I mean, the time frames of evolution are so long but then you have. It actually does seem so highly unlikely that a species on a planet can evolve to the point of space exploration around the same time as another species on another planet light years away.
It's unlikely?
It seems unlikely, but... I mean, we've taken 4.5 billion years to be able to go, for humans to be able to go as far as the moon. How long would it take to us to develop a technology where we could go outside the solar system?
Had dinosaurs developed along the same time frame humans had? Like, had dinosaurs developed thumbs and the correct brains, they could have been...
correct brains.
The correct brains.
You've been reading that eugenics book.
I'm going to disagree with the whole probability thing. Because
probability was the wrong word, because statistically speaking, with how many stars and how many planets there are, Drake's equation of yes, but at the same time, it's taken us 4.5 billion years to reach just the moon, but we only got 4.5 billion years. We got less than 4.5 billion years before the sun kills us all.
Right, but to be honest, we've done that in less than 400 years from getting the equations of Newton. We've gone to the moon.
But the same may not apply to civilizations on another planet where they could still be stuck with a Galileo excommunicated from the church because he's saying they're not at the center of the solar system, and then you have some force that is preventing further
So the probability is not 1, which means 100% in statistical language. So the probability is not 100% that these species, these 25 million, upwards of 25 million species, are going to all of a sudden get warp drive or hyperspace drive, and be able to start flying throughout the galaxy. But it's also not 0.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we look at Star Trek, it just takes 1 to come visit us and give us the tech.
Well, we
Yeah,
got
we
there
were already
first.
working on
We
it.
got the warp drive first, and then Vulcans came down to
And then
do
Vulcans
something.
came. They happened to be passing through.
Well, technically, Liz.
Whoa. Katie says, unless the civilization was way more intelligent than us, bigger-brained aliens.
So
perhaps.
there's a super cool theory out there as to why we don't see civilizations out in the solar system, or in the galaxy. Because, like you said, with the Drake's equation, that takes exactly. Do we call it the constraints of the Drake's equation?
It has to. The civilization has to be able to broadcast a signal. Basically, they have to develop a way to utilize radio waves.
It like takes into the amount of stars in the galaxy, planets around it, habitable possibility life got going, and how many of them actually got wavelengths out there, radio wavelengths. So this kind of theory is. We don't hear anything out there in the galaxy because there is one big bad race out there that eats up the other species, and so everyone out there knows enough just to stay quiet. And here Earth is being a bunch of dummies sending our stuff out into the broadcast world, saying, "Hey, I love Lucy. Do you?" And they're going to come and eat us one day. So that's one theory as to why the galaxy is quiet.
They clearly haven't watched our movies and know enough about the human race. Bring it.
Well, we saw the last Nick Frost trilogy, End of the World. Is that what was it called?
Oh, World's End?
World's End.
World's End.
That was a fun movie.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and if you think about just how we haven't had any extraterrestrial interactions yet, and we haven't with SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, we haven't found anything yet. I mean, clearly the expanses of space are so big, but then that also means that there isn't another civilization that has developed the technology to then traverse those distances to interact with others, or at least has gotten to us.
Right, or to a terrifying point, like
UFOs don't count. UFOs are just unidentified flying objects.
They could be cows with drones.
Aliens. God. Anyway.
So there are. Okay, so this first thought isn't really that sadly terrifying. The second thought is. The first thought is, what if we are actually the species leading the charge when it comes to technology?
God, I hope
like
not.
we are the ones in front right now, and all the other civilizations they're still in the horse and buggy age, if you will.
Oh God.
Then I am sorry.
Which actually, if you go back too early in the universe, there's too much radiation and stuff to actually get life going. So we're kind of in that happy zone right now to be able to have life flourish.
I mean,
so it's possible we are actually one of the first civilizations out there.
I mean, if we look at... So, I guess we have to look at kind of galactic evolution.
Yeah.
We think about planetary or stellar evolution, but what does galactic evolution kind of look like in terms of then the rate of star formation and how many... Like, would our planet, essentially in our solar system, be evolving at the same rate as something else?
Well, the shitty thing about that is the other galaxies, they're millions of light years away, so we will never actually know. Like, even if you have the Star Wars tech, you have, speaking of Star Wars again, you have in Legends, so before Disney took over, you have the, what do they call it? Uzve. There's some kind of force insensitive beings that come in from a different galaxy. But that's only one time it's ever happened, even in Star Wars. So in the real life, to have the technology to go from one galaxy to another galaxy, that's incredible. That's godlike. That's as godlike.
Look,
at that
we're
point.
just having an issue with our own galaxy right now. I mean, it seems that then it could be likely that there are other civilizations that are on the same rate of evolution as us. But then again, our evolution, there's so much chance that that was involved
Yeah.
for us evolving in the first place and us maintaining that rate of evolution to where we are now.
Yeah, all right, here's the thing.
He says the thing.
How long have we been sending signals out?
Since 1936.
Yes, thank you.
Opening ceremony of
Hitler.
the Berlin Olympics with Hitler as our ambassador to the universe.
Thanks,
Okay,
Tom.
so 85
great.
years. We have been sending signals
Which
out.
is nothing.
Which is nothing. I mean, sure, there are a lot of stars that there are a lot of stars that 85 light years. I mean, because it's 85 plus 85, which is 170. So 170 light years diameter circle. There's a lot of stars in that.
Yeah, we got a couple.
However, the galaxy there's so
That's
many
true,
Astronomically big.
billions, hundreds of billions of stars that are beyond that 170 light year bubble, and I say that there is a lot of intelligent life out there. It's just got to be probability. The probabilities are that there has got to be intelligent life out there. It's just that it's well beyond anywhere that we have sent any kind of signals, because our signals are 85 light years away from the Earth. Let's just be generous that are 100 light years away, and we'll just say radio.
But then that also means that the other civilizations out there, should they be out there, they would also be in their own local bubble. They've either A, not progressed enough to have their technology go out, B, have been putting out the wavelengths for 100 years, but again, just like us, not long enough, or C, advanced to a point where they put wavelengths out, but no longer anymore because they've advanced to some other technology.
Which is what we're doing.
They don't exist.
Which is what we're doing. I think the whole radio window is really small.
It's got to be.
But then our sun, of course, is, and Jack, I'm going to get to your question in a second, but our sun is a middle of the road star. I mean, there are red dwarfs that have been living a lot longer that then could have planets closer to them that have been able to have much longer standing civilizations.
Yeah, but red dwarfs are more problematic because they got a lot of flares going off. They have a lot of...
Yeah.
But it could be a different kind of life that has evolved that we don't know of yet because we don't have that
There's a
data.
great book called The Gods Themselves. There's a whole... It's an Asimov book. It kind of realizes a whole different type of life of just energy, and they go through energy life forms throughout their life. So yeah, we're used to carbon-based life.
Yeah.
Silicon actually works very similar to carbon.
Looking at you, Titan.
So Jack asked the question: what generation of star would you put the sun into?
That's a really good question. I was hoping you knew. So there's actually a a generation list of stars.
Is there?
There is. I forget exactly where the star list. Yeah, first generation, second generation. I think we're like third or fourth generation stars. That sound about right?
No, we're population 2 stars, I think.
Oh, generation 2 star?
Okay.
They're called population. And I actually, all right, so you have population 1 and population 2. Yeah, look it up while I just drone on while you look it up.
Do it.
So I believe it's backwards. Population 1 stars are, and please correct me if I'm wrong, population 1 stars are stars like our sun, and that they have metals in them, which is really anything beyond helium for astrophysicists. So you're going to find a lot of lithium and carbon, oxygen, and shit like that. Well, lithium was created in the Big Bang. And when we talk about the Big Bang, I can talk about my work at Indiana Cyclotron Facility.
we'll get there.
I thought you were going to make a Nirvana reference.
No, but it isn't. Yes, all right. But population 2, I believe, are the original stars.
That's population 3.
Low in metal.
Population 3 stars are first generation stars.
Oh, okay, all right. So
Fucking astronomers. I mean, it's just like magnitudes. Like,
yeah, so they just like make it backwards. So population 3 are the original stars.
Yes.
So if you were to look at these stars, they just have hydrogen and helium in them. So the bigger of these population 3 stars, burn. The supernova. They explode and send carbon and oxygen and all that out into the universe, and they seed these other nebulae that are out there. And then I guess those become population 2 stars because they have more metal. So what would be population 1? Even more metal? Look it up.
So my first thought when you were talking was actually then thinking about how
Man, he's
many
drunk.
civilizations have there been that no longer exist in our galaxy. But then my
I gotta
second
put my glasses on.
but then my second thought
It's population
is,
2 star right there, am I right?
is if if we think about evolution of a species, is that rate biologically or physically like a standard rate of development, like how the length of time it's taking us to reach the intellectual level we have
that depends how quickly you reproduce and can give your traits on to the next generation,
I
whether
guess
that's
so.
24 hours, whether that's 2 weeks, 100 years.
Yeah.
It really just depends. Tortoises can live for 100 years but can reproduce for 80 of those years.
All right, so I was right.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, population 1. Okay, cool.
This motherfucker. Oh, I was right.
Jack says it seemed that we were the later part of that population because of our uranium ratios.
Yeah.
Metas. Yeah.
Yeah, but in that article you showed me, they have, or that website, I should say, they have extreme population.
I saw that. Yeah.
So.
And then there's the factor of once a species reaches a certain level of evolution of intellectualness where they can figure things out and utilize radio waves or what have you. Then like for us, we're dealing with the issue of climate change.
Yes, and also nuclear proliferation.
Yes.
Still there. Like 20 years ago.
Basically existential threats that we brought upon ourselves.
Goodness.
So then it's a factor of then civilizations, what threats then have they developed themselves or have mitigated or...
But and to be fair, that is one of the later issues to come to a threshold in the civilization. If you got to the point where you can destroy yourself, you're sufficiently kind of set. You're ready to go. You just get that past that point, and you'll face other existential threats down the road. Yeah. But at least you can pass the first one. I apologize.
No,
Continue.
go.
I just put this finger out because that's how I talk in general.
No,
I wasn't silencing you. My favorite kind of issue as to why there isn't more life out there.
Tonight.
There will be
Somebody will be murdered.
It will hopefully be like chicken wings, not me. It's called the Great Filter, and the Great. Is that familiar?
I think I vaguely heard this.
The Great Filter. It's one of the theories as to why there's no great life out there is because there's some kind of filter that life cannot progress through, whether it's climate change or nuclear proliferation.
It's like a universal natural selection.
Yeah, or even if that's going from single cell to multi-cell, even that was a huge jump.
Yeah.
So there is some filter along that timeline that life has just an incredibly difficult time getting through. So it may be if we go to any other planet out there in the galaxy, they may have single cell life everywhere. They just can't make that jump to multi-cell.
And then what I was going to say is then the ultimate problem of any intellectual species is then how do you outlive the lifespan of your star? You have to develop some form of space travel to get to a destination that will support your way of life or make a destination suitable for your way of life.
You bring up a great point. I think one of the biggest filters is the universe is actively trying to kill you.
Yes,
Very
it
much
is.
so.
It's a hostile place, everyone. It's not great.
Yeah, left to our own devices, sure, every society, every planet that has life on it can probably evolve to a point
of killing
where
themselves.
Well, okay. Well, evolve to a point where people, where the life can figure out how to send radio signals out, how to travel through the stars. However,
But really quick,
go ahead.
life finds a way. Life finds a fucking way.
It does.
It does,
It
but when the
does.
universe is actively trying to kill you, and then when you add on to that, you trying to kill yourself. I mean, it seems like at least here, we are constantly trying suicide.
We like our plastics. We like our
plastics.
air conditioning, and
And we don't like solar power
we
for
like
some reason.
we like money. I guess money is the thing
Yeah, you
that
know
is
what?
really detrimental.
Money needs to be abolished. It just needs to be.
I'm a big fan of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
It needs to be
Post-scarcity
abolished.
world.
If we just need the
What?
fucking replicators.
Which I'm just saying, if you took Jeff Bezos and took his wealth and just distributed it, we'd all be okay.
Oh, we'd be more than okay. That'd be
Yeah.
fantastic.
You know, money is inherently unequal. There's inequality in money because it's not like you can leave it for people to see the world beyond their own best interest. Bezos and everybody is a prime example of
You
that.
fucking Musk. We got issues.
Bill
Talk
Gates.
to me.
You know, I
Bill
thought
Gates.
there was one point where I thought that Elon Musk was going to be like a Tony Stark-esque billionaire.
Yeah, I mean, just
Got
think.
issues with Musk.
It's not.
You know,
Still hire me.
just fucking abolish money and let everybody. I'm not saying that, to each to their own means or whatever the fuck the Communist Manifesto is, but to their own abilities. But why don't we just make everybody equal, abolish money, and feed everybody, make sure that everybody gets an education,
And then everybody can just
make
do what
sure,
they want to do. And
make
live
sure
their
everybody
lives.
has.
That sounds like socialism to me.
You only
Well,
got one
then-
life. Enjoy
Then
it.
you know what? I'm a socialist, and fuck all the right wing people who say that socialism is bad.
We set up as a human species, we set up a really over the hundreds of thousands of years, we have set up this weird system where we have to basically work ourselves to death and not enjoy life in order to live.
Yeah.
For some
So
reason,
as-
we have the ability to change that now, but we're not.
So it's like the tagline to Braveheart: "Every man dies, but not every man really lives."
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks, 1996, Mel Gibson.
Before we found out you were a super racist.
Oh, the worst kind of person.
Oh,
I mean, but-
man.
Just think how far humanity could go. Seriously,
So far.
we have come a long way in our understanding of the universe. And earlier, we talked about Einstein and the whole you're no Einstein and this kind of stuff. How many Einsteins never existed because they were never given the opportunity to exist?
Who did that great quote? Bernard Shaw. I think he had the great quote of, I don't cry for, I forget what it was, but I cry for the amount of Einsteins that died in the rice field or something like that.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and
I mean, yeah, if you
and,
think about
and it's all
that,
about money. It
Yeah.
really and truly, my mom would say that the ills of society is money, and she was right. I mean, sure, she white
it's
privilege, but
it's just all these, it's money and all these just bullshit prejudices that we've invented
Well, yeah.
to then benefit whoever is dominant in a society.
So is it money that's the great filter?
Oh, that could be our
yeah.
great filter.
Is the distribution of
It's,
wealth the great filter?
money
that's
and-
one of
and
them. That's
money
one of
and
them.
white people are our great filter.
Well, okay, all right. Let's generalize the whole white people comment where it is money is a filter, racism, being a catch-all term there, is a filter.
But what would racism look to the species that have different skin color? Do they have different size auras of the energy
Well,
rays?
that's why I say it's a
Purpleism.
catch-all thing.
Yeah.
It's
It's hatred about the clans.
I mean,
Of the others. Of
yeah,
the others.
I've
if you
always
will.
wondered,
Sorry.
if there are other species that exist out there, in our galaxy or beyond, fuck, I just lost it. Damn it, alcohol. No, I'm gonna get it. But it is... do other species also have the us versus them mentality that we've evolved with based on... which would evolve based on survival.
I'm going to say most of them do.
We can look at, like, wolves, for example. Wolves have their own packs they go into, and they go into different territory. They will attack that wolf because they are the other. So I would say absolutely, because it's, well... Again, that's biased towards us and our experience, because that's what we know.
That's the data point we have.
Yeah.
It seems like a
I'm
natural
going to say,
thing.
though, that you cannot advance with an us versus them attitude. So,
you need that diversity.
You continue up to, is the only way you can advance to a certain point, having an us versus them, because you have to one-up each other and make sure you survive.
well,
And
Survival
okay.
and so
fittest.
that is another theory, as the only civilizations out there that actually get to interstellar, interplanetary, is actually the mentality that they have prey. They have to go hunt because they are constantly on the go. That's a theory out there.
Yeah.
It's not what I think.
Here's the thing.
Has there been a civilization, I'm going to let you talk in a second, has there been a civilization that has figured out, hey, if we just all work to fucking together, then we can travel the universe?
Right, but here's the thing. The us versus them, that actually add it as a drinking thing, because I think that ought to be a drinking rule.
Hold on, let's just pause to say goodbye to Jack. He says, cool conversation to show, off to host drag queen gay night.
Jack,
and I
hell
love
yeah.
it so much. Yes. Have fun with those drag queens. Tell all the drag queens that we say hi, Cosmos. And
join us.
Have fun.
Have fun. And
we'll be in drag next week, or next show.
How are we going to do that?
I mean...
All right, we'll figure out a way.
I'm going to put makeup on them, apparently.
We're going to forget this,
And
right?
I'll put my hair up and wear some of Brandon's clothes.
And then Liz is going to
suit.
remind us. We have to be in drag now.
No, it won't be good drag, because I don't know how to do drag. Those are professionals. I can barely do my own makeup. Are you kidding
You're in
me?
drag now. You don't have to do makeup.
You're in drag now?
I'm into female already.
Right. So, you're in pants.
I'm in pants.
Shirt.
I'm in a shirt.
Leggings.
You have to be in a dress.
No.
In makeup.
It's gotta be.
Do you own dresses?
It's gotta. I have
She
a couple.
She has a couple.
It's
Anyway,
gotta be
what were we
it's gotta
talking
be
about?
Fantastic.
You guys cut me
shit.
I
off.
don't know. I'm sorry, but
We went down the
It's
rabbit
Jack.
hole again.
as we do, it's the hangover.
I forgot what I was
I
gonna
can
say.
talk about why life doesn't exist or why it does all night long. So, what's another, a quick little topic we can kind of put everything on the bow in, because at this point we're going 2 hours in.
That's typical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what your point is.
Well, we started with, is the Milky Way made of milk?
No,
We
but it
have
should have been.
discovered that it is not
No.
made of milk.
We have discovered, not anyone else.
No.
It was us here today.
No other physicist, astrophysicist. We have gone beyond Einstein.
Beyond any mortal can comprehend, Cosmos went further.
All right. Anyway, I need my glasses for this. Why don't we do Skittles for a second?
All right, let's
Skittles.
let's go into Skittles, and I guarantee that no other civilization in this galaxy, at least, has Skittles.
No, they fucking
so we
do
win.
not. I say this only because I took the time to actually calculate this. So
Yeah, you
I
like doing
want to say
math.
it.
He likes doing math.
I do.
We like to give him math to do because he enjoys it.
All right, so the amount of Skittles.
Wait, really quick. So this is my first time here in person. I've never been able to see his iPad. He has a document called Space Skittles. And how far up does it go?
Oh,
Okay.
wait a minute.
That's
Hold
it.
on. Oh, shit. We have...
He has multiple
he has
tabs.
multiple tabs.
He has multiple tabs within this Excel sheet of Space Skittles, folks.
Based on his different calculations.
This is fabulous. Okay, this is what we're in. Let's do it.
You want me to share this with you? I can share it with you. It's a
Little
Google
bit.
Doc.
A little bit. Kind of want to see.
All right, so the number of Skittles that it would take to fill the volume of the Milky
Oh
Way,
my god.
25,878 septillion, quadrillion.
I don't even know what that number is.
Right, so septillion is 1 followed by 24 zeros.
I can't.
But that's not even, that's more zeros.
I can't even do it. I can't even.
Yeah, it is 2.58 times 10 to the 67 Skittles. That is basically 2.5
And it's
followed
only
by
Skittles.
66 Skittles
Does
after
that
that.
include like dark matter?
Does that account for all the ones I
No,
would
that's
eat?
just the volume. That's the
Oh.
volume.
Okay.
All right, so okay, yeah. All right, so what I decided to do was then how many gallons of milk is that?
How many gallons of milk is the Milky Way?
Yep, 1.79 septillion, quadrillion gallons of milk.
That's enough milk to kill you, folks.
Basically 1.8 followed by 62 zeros. Yeah, it'll kill you. It'll kill you. All right, so, and then how many years would it take to fill the milk, to produce the amount of milk?
Oh, poor Bessie.
Oh, poor cows. Poor cows.
Oh my god.
Okay, wait.
Those
Wait.
others.
Is this based off one cow? Or is it based off the amounts
It
that we
is
have a
based
year?
on the amount of milk that is produced every year.
Okay, so
Year-
this is the Earth
This
Worldwide.
is
cows going to
national
town.
yearly milk,
So-
based on national yearly milk production.
Well,
Yeah.
international.
Yeah, it's the international.
Okay.
It is. We take every country on the earth.
Okay.
Every single cow that's
Because
making
we're
milk.
all one
Yeah.
globe, one people.
Yeah, it would take 13,123 in 1/4 year. 13,123.25 septillion
There it is.
septillion years.
There it is. That's not bad at all.
Yeah,
oh,
no,
oh.
it takes-
Holy shit. Katie says a bad time to be lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
Am I right?
You know what? Just substitute with cashew milk. You're fine. Because apparently that's what we have.
I based the volume of the Milky Way based on Phil Plate's estimate.
So-
size of the volume of the Milky Way.
Well, one of the cool things, speaking of Phil Plate and the size of the galaxy, like 8 years ago or something like that, we went down to Tucson to see the Astronomy Expo.
Yes!
And Phil Plate was down there.
Yes.
And after he gave the talk, which was great, I went up to him and talked to him for a second. I worked in the planetarium up in Phoenix. What's one thing you would love an audience to know more about? Like, what should more people know? And without missing a beat, he goes, "How big space is."
Yes.
And space is just mind-blowingly big.
It's brain-meltingly big. Like, it's... You can't comprehend...
And you can't underestimate how big it is either.
the vastness of it. I mean, it's just... It's indescribable, really. I mean, you could throw out all these numbers and distances
Like,
and whatever.
how long would it take to walk to the moon? A long fucking time.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, but all right, so
unimaginable with our... Really, at this...
With our puny human brains.
Yeah, as evolved as we are, really, we're nothing.
yeah, and, just
I'm gonna drink.
driving from Phoenix to Salt Lake City, Phoenix to Ogden, 12 hours. Driving from Ogden
Eating
to
Chinese food the whole way.
Driving from
Orange
Ogden,
beef.
driving from Ogden to the Bay Area.
Oh,
12 hours. If we were to go to Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
12 hours roughly. Well, 11 hours.
yeah.
So what you're telling me is anywhere in the universe is 12 hours away.
Yeah.
That's just what I heard.
Exactly.
Those are facts, people.
Exactly. It's like in Hawaii where everything is 2,500 miles away from Hawaii. So L.A., wherever, it's just 2,500 miles away.
Katie on YouTube asked, how big is the funnel to milk the Milky Way?
42 funnel units.
42 units.
42 funnel units.
It's always 42. It's always 42. You know who else we met at the expo? Alex Filipenko.
Alex Filipenko.
Yes. He was also on in the Supernova talk that we listened to with Phil Plate.
Yeah, also he was part of the team that won a Nobel Prize for something.
Yep,
Is that
he
not
was.
correct?
Yes.
That is correct, yes. So it was no, wait a minute, it was Phil Plate.
No,
Plate
we
didn't- it was
saved
Filipenko.
Alex Filipenko's children.
Linda
Yes.
saved his kids. yes.
Linda Blixt. I love you and I miss you. You'll never.
And
see
you need to be on
but-
this podcast.
But we love you and we miss you. You are a Fellowship of the Dome member.
She needs to get a tattoo.
She never will.
She never will.
I know.
But she saved Alex.
She's probably all
Filipenko's
tatted up
children.
now. Yeah, so Alex Filipenko has been on numerous shows,
he's with
TV
Berkeley,
shows.
right?
Yeah, he's Berkeley.
Yeah, talking about the universe, and he actually worked with the team that did the supernova data that confirmed dark energy. We've actually talked to him.
Yeah.
And
we have a picture with him.
My sister Katie graduated from UC Berkeley.
Katie!
She did it!
You did it!
Yep. And what was the show? We were going to produce a show that actually was going to have Alex Filippenko
Was that-
in
Is
it.
that Hubble's Universe?
Was it Hubble's Universe?
I think
That's been just like the dream.
That's the dream show.
I think that
One day.
I think it was
Maybe
Hubble's
now.
Universe that was going to have Alex Filippenko in it and Jeff Hester.
Jeff Hester.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, now
After the corn dogs.
we're back under the same roof. It's not a dome, but it's a roof.
Yeah, but we have access to a dome.
That's true.
A fancy dome.
A real
Fancy dome.
You're going to see that fancy dome before
I'm
I see the
excited.
fancy
Oh,
dome.
that's
Really?
right.
You haven't
You're
seen
going
it
to
yet?
see
He hasn't
You're going to see
seen
it
it
tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll see it tomorrow. You'll get the
Yep.
Domex experience.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Please take pictures. I
I
want to see it.
will.
Yeah.
If I'm allowed to.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
No, how do we wrap this up? Like we literally talked about the birth of civilizations and
This is a great.
how
Get rid of money.
get rid of money.
Okay, here's what I would like to say to anybody watching or listening, but watching because only the hangovers go on YouTube and nowhere else. I would recommend, and I would say that we would all endorse this, is at some point go out away from the city lights.
Yeah.
Go to a dark area, out camping, what have you, at night, and just look up. And just look at the cosmos. You will see this haziness of the Milky Way, of our own galaxy going above you, and just bask in it, and just
Let those photons that are 1,000 years old end their journey in your eye sockets.
yes, and just enjoy it, and just appreciate the life that you have and the world that you live in, because in all honesty, you're not gonna get another one.
No.
Ouch. Ouch.
I mean, really, our lifespans are short, so.
God damn, I'm gonna drink again.
But I recommend everybody to see the Milky Way galaxy at least once in their lives, and to do that, you need a dark area. So you need to find the middle of nowhere at night and look up, and that's where you live.
And at first, you may not realize that's the actual Milky Way. You
No.
may think it's a whiff of
That
clouds.
is
Yeah.
true.
I
Like
know.
me.
You
I
may
didn't
be
know.
Like, wait a minute, what's that?
It's a Lord of the
haziness?
Rings reference, guys. You
Oh,
gotta
God
drink.
damn it. What's that whiff of cloud?
It's not crows.
Hey,
Come
but
on,
you know what?
Dublin.
You know what? Even if you cannot get out to a dark location, just go out.
Still look up.
Just go look
Look
up.
at the moon.
And
look
you-
at what stars
You'll
you
notice the
see.
stars, different colors. There are things that blink, things that don't blink.
Download Google Sky Maps on your phone.
Yeah, Sky
and
Safari.
You can see, what you're looking at, and you can learn something.
If we all looked up once every few days, we'd live in a much better world than we
I
currently
think
do.
so. I think
We would.
we would, because the sky is a lot bigger than all of our lives.
The
And
sky
yeah.
is no limit.
And with that, I think we'll say
Yeah.
goodbye, everybody.
What do we talk about next time?
It is.
How big is how much of a bang was the Big Bang?
Say
I
that
think it was
again.
a big bang. It
How
made
much
a lot
of a
of
bang
shit.
was the Big Bang?
How much of a bang was a big bang?
How much of the bang was the Big Bang, everybody?
How
Join
much
us
of bang?
live next time on Cosmos and Cosmos, coming to you live on April, whatever the day is here.
In 2 weeks.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for
Cheers,
joining us
everybody.
here.
Stay
See
safe.
you later. Stay safe.
See ya.
Stay healthy.
Bye, everybody. It was fun. We're still going live because
We're
I don't
still
know,
going
I don't know
live.
what computer I'm using.
There's a computer.
In
There are
order to
drinks involved.
end this.
There's a lot of liquids
Lots
right
of things
now
are happening.
in this place.
Oh, wait, we're still live, so I'm gonna highlight what Katie just said. Sounds like
a
Banging good time. Hey.
fuck yeah, it will
And
be.
you know the worst part? We're gonna have this exact same conversation just downstairs. So this
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
end. This doesn't
it
end.
doesn't end for us. We keep going.
We live this now.
because now we all live together.
Cheers, everybody.
See you. Bye.
See you later.
And now we're still not out, so I'm gonna keep talking about things.
We're done.
Okay.
We're out. All right, good.